Ritika had never heard of Labubu before that night. She wasn't into designer toys or collectible figures, but her younger cousin Meher was obsessed. Meher had shelves lined with wide-eyed creatures, cute, strange little beings with mischievous smiles and forest-themed outfits. Among them, one doll stood out. It was called Labubu. Ritika first saw it during a weekend visit to Meher's apartment in Pune. The doll was about 8 inches tall, dressed in a faded brown romper with a tiny stitched acorn hanging from its neck. Its ears were slightly pointed, and its smile, wide, toothy, and playful, felt oddly stretched. "Isn't she adorable?" Meher had said, hugging the doll tightly. "She?" Ritika asked. "Yeah, this one's special. I named her Mubu." The room was bright, filled with fairy lights and pastel wallpaper. There was nothing frightening about it. Yet, when Ritika looked at Labubu, she felt something small but sharp, like a whisper behind her ear. That night, she slept in Meher's room because the guest room was being repainted. The dolls watched from their shelves, or at least that's how it felt. It was around 2:13 a.m. when Ritika woke up. She didn't know why at first. The air conditioner hummed softly. The curtains fluttered slightly in the night breeze. The city outside was unusually quiet. Then she heard it. A soft tapping sound. Tap. 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 It was coming from the shelf. She sat up slowly. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness. The fairy lights were off now, leaving only faint streetlight shadows across the room. Tap. Her gaze drifted toward the shelf of dolls. They were still, except one. Labubu. It wasn't tapping, it was rocking. Back and forth, slowly. Ritika blinked hard. No, that wasn't possible. Maybe the shelf was uneven. Maybe the AC air was stronger than she thought. She lay back down and pulled the blanket over her shoulder. Don't be dramatic. Tap. This time it was louder. She sat up again, and the rocking had stopped. But something was different. Labubu's head was tilted, slightly more to the right than before. The next morning, Ritika laughed about it. "I think your dolls are haunted," she teased. Meher smiled oddly. "They're not haunted. They just don't like being ignored." "What?" "Nothing." Meher grabbed Labubu and placed it on her study desk. "See, she behaves better when she's closer." "Closer?" Ritika didn't ask more questions. Kids had imaginations. But that evening, things got worse. Meher's parents were out for a dinner party. Ritika was in charge. Meher fell asleep early after watching cartoons. Ritika stayed up scrolling through her phone. At 12:47 a.m., the lights flickered. Just once. Then again. The Wi-Fi disconnected. "Great," she muttered. The hallway light turned off. Then on. Then off again. She stood up, heart thudding. "Meher?" she called softly. No response. She walked toward the bedroom. The door was slightly open. Inside, the fairy lights were glowing faintly, even though they had been switched off earlier. And on the desk, Labubu was not where Meher had left it. It was sitting on Meher's pillow, facing the door, facing Ritika. Its smile looked wider, its eyes glossier, its head perfectly straight now. Ritika's breath caught in her throat. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." She stepped closer. The doll's tiny acorn pendant was swinging slightly, as if it had just moved. She reached out with trembling fingers and picked it up. It felt warm, not plastic warm from room temperature, skin warm. She dropped it immediately. It landed upright on the bed. Upright. Dolls don't land upright. And then, it blinked. Just once. Slow. Deliberate. Ritika screamed. The next few days were worse. Meher refused to touch Labubu anymore. "She talks when you're not here," Meher said one afternoon, eyes wide. "What do you mean?" "She says she doesn't like you." Ritika froze. "She says you're trying to take me away." "I would never." "She says if you stay again, She'll make you disappear. Ritika felt a chill spread down her spine. That night, she decided to record the room. She placed her phone on the table, camera facing the shelf. At 3:03 a.m., she woke up again. The room was cold, unnaturally cold. Her breath fogged in the air. The shelf was empty. Every doll was gone. Her heart pounded violently. She turned slowly. They were standing on the floor. All of them, arranged in a circle around her bed. Labubu stood closest. Its smile stretched impossibly wide now, almost tearing at. I didn't even know what Labubu was until it showed up on my porch. It came in a plain brown box with no return address, no company logo, no shipping label I recognized. Just my name written in black marker. Caleb Rivers. I live in a quiet neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. Nothing strange ever happens here unless you count raccoons tipping over trash cans. I work remote, spend most nights gaming, and rarely get packages I didn't order. But this one? It was addressed to me. Correct street, correct zip code. I brought it inside. I shouldn't have. Inside the box was a doll. About 10 inches tall. Oversized head. Long pointed ears. Big round eyes. A tiny forest green outfit with stitched details. It had a wide, mischievous grin. Sharp little teeth. Almost playful. It looked like something that belonged in a trendy designer toy shop in Los Angeles. Not on my suburban porch. There was a small card inside. Don't leave her alone. No brand name. No explanation. I Googled the character. That's how I learned about Labubu, some kind of popular collectible creature from an odd toy series. Cute in a slightly creepy way. Big fan base. This one didn't feel cute. Its eyes were darker than the ones online. Almost glossy black. I set it on the kitchen counter and laughed to myself. Very funny, I muttered. Probably one of my friends messing with me. I texted everyone I knew. No one claimed it. The first night was normal. The second night was not. I keep my house quiet when I sleep. No TV, no music. Just the hum of the refrigerator downstairs. At 2:17 a.m., I woke up. I don't know why. My room was dark except for a faint blue glow from the streetlight outside. I rolled over. And that's when I saw it. Labubu was sitting on my dresser, facing my bed. I definitely left it downstairs. I sat up slowly. Nope, I whispered. I got out of bed, walked over and picked it up. It was heavier than before. Not dramatically heavy, just different. I carried it downstairs and placed it back on the kitchen counter. This time, I positioned it facing the wall. Stay, I said, half joking. I went back upstairs and locked my bedroom door. At 3:03 a.m., something scratched at the door. Slow, dragging, rhythmic. My heart slammed in my chest. I stared at the door. The handle didn't move. No shadow appeared underneath. Just scratching, like small, deliberate nails. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. The scratching stopped instantly. Silence. I opened the door. The hallway was empty. But at the end of the hallway, near the stairs, something was sitting. Small, still, watching. Labubu. This time, its head was tilted sharply to one side, farther than a normal toy should allow. Its smile looked stretched, wider. I didn't scream. I just stared. Because screaming would mean this was real. I walked toward it slowly. Each step felt wrong, like I was walking into something waiting. When I reached down to grab it, its head straightened. On its own. Not fast. Not dramatic. Just a slow, deliberate correction. I dropped it and stumbled back. Okay, I breathed. Okay, I'm dreaming. I pinched myself. It hurt. The doll's eyes followed me. The next morning, I set up security cameras inside the house. Front door, kitchen, hallway, my bedroom. If this was some elaborate prank, I was about to catch it. That night, I placed Labubu in a clear plastic storage bin with a lid. I sealed it shut with duct tape and left it in the garage. "Let's see you move now," I muttered. I went to bed. At 2:58 a.m., my phone buzzed. Motion alert. Garage camera. My throat tightened. I opened the app. The storage bin was shaking. Not violently, but gently. Rocking. Back and forth. Back and forth. The lid began to bend inward, then outward, like something inside was pushing. I watched, frozen, as the duct tape slowly peeled itself off. No hands, no visible force. Just pressure from within. The lid popped open. The bin went still. The doll was gone. The garage was empty. The camera glitched to static. The power went out immediately after. Complete darkness. My phone screen was the only light in the room. And then, I heard footsteps. Soft, small, padding across the hardwood floor downstairs. Step, step, step. They were slow, measured, coming toward the staircase. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The footsteps climbed one stair at a time. Deliberate, unhurried. Step, step, step. Halfway up. Then, silence. I stared at my bedroom door. The handle began to turn. Slowly. I had locked it. The metal twisted anyway. Click. The door creaked open. And in the darkness of the hallway, two glossy black eyes reflected the faint light of my phone. Lower than eye level. Small. Watching. "Why are you scared?" a voice whispered. It wasn't loud. It wasn't deep. It sounded like a child trying to imitate friendliness. "I just want to stay." The doll stepped into my room. Its legs moved stiffly, joints bending unnaturally. Its smile widened further than before, skin splitting slightly at the corners, revealing too many tiny teeth. "I don't like being alone," it said. Its voice didn't come from its mouth. It came from everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, inside my head. "You opened the box," it continued softly. "That means you chose me." I shook my head violently. "I didn't order you. You opened it." The doll climbed onto my bed. Each movement made a faint clicking sound. Its eyes were no longer glossy plastic. They looked wet, alive. "You're mine now," it whispered. The light snapped back on. Everything was normal. The doll was gone. My bedroom door was closed, locked. I jumped out of bed and ran downstairs. The storage bin was still sealed with duct tape, untouched. I checked the cameras. No motion alerts. No footage. Nothing. I almost convinced myself it was sleep paralysis. Stress. A nightmare. Until the next package arrived. This time, it wasn't for me. It was for my neighbor, an elderly woman who lives alone. I watched from my window as she picked up the box. Brown cardboard. Black marker name. My stomach dropped. That night, I saw lights flicker in her house. Around 2:17 a.m. Then everything went dark. The next morning, police cars lined the street. They said she passed peacefully in her sleep. Natural causes. But when they carried her belongings out later that week, I saw it. Through the open front door. Sitting on the hallway table. Smiling. Waiting. Another Labubu. Its head slowly turning toward me. I moved out 2 weeks later. Different city, different state. Didn't matter. Last night, a box appeared outside my apartment door in Denver. No shipping label. Just my name, written in black marker. I haven't opened it yet. But at 2:17 a.m., I swear I heard something scratching at the other side. Soft. Patient. Waiting for me to choose again. And I'm starting to understand the card now. Don't leave her alone. Because if you do, she finds someone new. And she never stops smiling.